Welcome to the Journee Continues Podcast. Real voices, real recovery. I'd like to welcome our guest, Stephen. Stephen, welcome.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
We good. I am excited that you're here. Thank you, first and foremost, for agreeing to come and tell your story. So with that being said, how did this journey of recovery start? So what I mean by that is, how did you get here? Where did it all start from? What happened?
It started when I was in my addiction.
Okay. And addiction of what? What was you addicted to?
Alcohol and crack cocaine.
Okay. And when did that start? How did it start? When and how?
Like from the beginning,
Yes.
where I first started witness my life changing. 11 years old.
11.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was actually introduced to powder cocaine
Mm-hmm.
at the age of 13
Okay.
by one of my friends that
Mm-hmm.
used to sell it. And he came to my house and pulled out this white substance. I didn't know what it was.
So powder cocaine is what you snort?
Yes.
Okay. Just in case we may know what it is,
Yeah.
but the audience may not understand what that means.
Yes.
Okay.
You congest it.
Ingest it.
Ingest it.
You good. You ingest it.
And at that age, I didn't know what to feel. I was more like, I did it and was like, let's go play basketball. I don't know what you're supposed to feel, so I never did it again.
Fast forward. You did cocaine.
Yes.
Okay.
I drank at an early age too.
How old were you?
13, 14.
How did you start drinking?
Pure pressure from my friends.
Okay.
Hanging out with my friends that drank, smoked cigarettes, and always thought of myself as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
But I had two of my best friends, and I just followed them. Whatever they did, I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was getting in trouble as a teenager,
Mm-hmm.
and I lived with my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother was trying to get me focused on life and school. And she knew I smoked marijuana.
Let me have you pause.
Mm-hmm.
When did marijuana come into play?
When I was 11.
When you was 11.
When I
So
was
when you was
11.
11, you started marijuana and cocaine.
It was marijuana and alcohol.
Marijuana and alcohol at 11.
At 11.
And then when your friend had introduced you to cocaine, when was that?
I was 13.
You was 13 when he introduced you.
When I first got introduced to it,
when you first got introduced.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was 13.
Okay. So let's fast forward. So from what we just heard is that you were staying with your grandmother and your grandmother wanted the best for you, but you decided, no, that's not what I want. I want to run with my friend.
Yeah, when she passed away when I was 13.
Okay.
She's my whole world. And when she passed away, I spiraled out of control.
Where did you go when she passed away? Where were you at?
I was still here in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan.
Detroit. So who did you go reside with after she passed? Because you still in
my mother, who was an addict, came back into my life.
After your grandmother died?
Yeah. And I didn't want to see my mother because I knew what she was doing in the streets. I knew she was addicted to heroin, and I didn't want her around me. So she moved back, and I lived in the suburbs.
Okay.
He's upper middle class, and I'm just so used to having everything my way. I was spoiled. And one day, I come home and started noticing stuff disappearing in the house.
And this is at your grandmother's house?
Yes.
You came and moved back to your grandmother's
Yes.
house. Okay.
And you see certain things missing, and I'm like, my mother stole it and sold it for drugs. And when you come home and all your furniture gone, all the furniture.
And you're like 13?
Yeah. All the furniture gone. So I dealt with it till I was almost 16.
How long is your mom still living?
No, she passed away. 2010.
2010.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know if she passed away in her addiction.
Mm-hmm. So I was going to ask you that.
Yeah.
I heard you when you said you were 16 and distilling continued on.
Yeah.
Right? When did you exit from that situation? Like, when did you find a place for yourself? Because you're 16 at this time. Was you still in school? When did you move out?
I wasn't even in school. Once my grandmother passed, I just gave up hope on school.
From school. Okay.
So
when did you move out? And where was your mother at? Like, was your mother still there?
My mother was still at the house.
Mm-hmm. And when did you move out?
I had another aunt that stayed down the street from me.
Okay.
And she was iffy about a lot of stuff. She was strict.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, my mother didn't raise me. I'm raising myself.
Mm.
So we get a phone call from one of my aunties in California. So I had a choice to either go to California or the Virgin Islands. I'm like.
So which one did you choose?
I picked California.
California. So you went to California. How long were you in California?
For 8 years.
8 years. And then when you came back to Detroit, what happened? Were you using drugs? Who were you residing with?
I smoked marijuana.
Okay, when you came back.
When I came back.
So you was like 20 what?
I was 21.
21 when you came back?
Yeah.
Okay, and you started smoking marijuana.
And pretty much that's all I did. And I met my girlfriend, my future wife. I met my girlfriend as a blind date.
Okay.
And she was pregnant with our daughter. She wasn't working, and I was working small jobs, here and there, and couldn't stay focused. And I said it wasn't enough money to support both of us. Mm-hmm. So I started selling drugs. Okay. I figured, because I did it in California, so I drugged that mindset and skill from California back here to Detroit. Okay. And made money to support both of us. But as a youngster, at the age of 13, I'm glad my grandmother and my auntie did this for me. They made me sign this paper. And they're like, congratulations, you have a summer job. And I'm like, summer job? I'm so used to being spoiled. They're like, you gonna work. So I ended up having a good work ethic. Okay. And I carried that from here, from Michigan, all the way to California. As soon as I got there, I wanted a job. Okay. I was going to school. I never graduated. I'm kind of down on myself on that, but they like, you could get a GED, but I can't stay focused on it. I'm trying to stay in the present. I supported me and my wife. I had my first child, but I was working and hustling at the same time. I'm doing both. I'm trying to balance both. So during your marriage,
Was you using drugs? When did that start? How did it start?
I actually wasn't just marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
I would have an occasional drink because I knew that my father was an alcoholic,
Mm-hmm.
and I seen what it did to his life until he stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And I would drink here and there, but years go by after having 3 kids in my life, I was keeping them hostage in their own house by me sitting there smoking weed, and I started drinking.
What does that mean? You was keeping them hostage while you were sitting there smoking weed and drinking.
I wouldn't let them. I actually had a baby gate in between the hallway in their rooms. I'm like, you have everything in your room that you need.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to come out here. The bathroom right here, you got water, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Until this is when I realized my oldest son came out the room, and me and my cousin, we smoking and drinking, and my son, I said, go back in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And he like, Dad, I'm hungry and thirsty. That day, I realized it. I realized it. And I took that gate down, and I'm like, this is much as my house as it is yours.
Where was your wife at?
Work. She'd be at work. She used to work for United Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the part I didn't realize that I started isolating myself. You know, I had a nice basement. I go sit in my basement and sit, or I sit in my room, or I sit on the porch or on my car. When I used to use crack cocaine in California, and I stopped, and I said I ain't gonna never go back to that. Mm-hmm. And just one day, out the blue, I'm sitting there, and I had a guy across the street from me that I knew he smoked.
Mm-hmm. Smoke what?
Crack.
Okay. And he lived across the street?
He lived across the street from me.
Okay.
And just out of the blue, I thought about when I used to do it in California, when I used to smoke crack in California. And just out of the blue, I thought about it, and I stopped him, and I said, hey, can you give me a 20? He's like, I could get you a $20 bag of weed. And I'm like, no. I'm like, crack cocaine. And he was shocked. And I started just chipping. I put it in my weed, which is called a 51.
So you was mixing the crack cocaine with marijuana?
Yes.
And you rolled this in what? What did you roll it in? A blunt paper? Blunt paper.
Blunt paper.
Okay.
And I did it one time, mm-hmm. and I felt guilty because my wife never seen me on hard drugs. And I kept putting it in my weed until I really thought about my friend saying, never smoke crack cocaine straight. That's the kicker. That's when you get hooked on it. Mm-hmm. So
you didn't think you were hooked?
I didn't think I was hooked. I thought I was normal. I thought I thought I could do this and handle it. I'm like, I stopped in California because I was young. Right. You know, I had the mindset when I was young because I watched other people ruin their lives on that and crystal meth.
And you said that wouldn't happen to you?
I said it wouldn't happen to me.
And what happened?
It happened. It slapped me dead in the face.
Fast forward. Fast forward to when life spiraled out of control.
For me, personally, is when my wife passed away.
What happened?
When she passed away, she was sick. She had weight loss surgery and was fine. I had cornea implant surgery on my eyes because I had extremely thick glasses. And when we met, they called us, once she lost weight and I got my cornea implants, they called us the white and black Barbie and Ken. But when she passed, that's when my life, it spiraled. And I watched it. I went from an occasional drinker to I would buy 2 beers at the most and leave it alone. Before she got sick and we were at our house, I smoked a 51 with her and she didn't like it. She's like, that's an upper and a downer. I don't want it. Turned out that she was using opiates, which was Norcos and Xanax.
Did you know?
I didn't know. The way I found out is I went to the dentist and had surgery on my mouth. Mm-hmm. And I had like 90 Norcos. And, I set them down. No big deal. They for pain. Because I wasn't taking them. Mm-hmm. And she took them in the kitchen and was going through them and was counting them. And I'm like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. And I got mad. I knew I'm supposed to take them for pain. I got mad and crushed them all. And I had to call the pharmacy back.
Why did you crush them all?
Because I knew that she was taking them. So I didn't want her to have them. Mm. So fast forward, she found out that I was smoking crack. Mm-hmm. Little by little, she would leave work early from United. And I'm sitting there in the living room getting high. I had to go pick up my 3 kids from school. I drop them off in the morning sober, mm-hmm, and go home and get high. Mm-hmm. And I started chipping. I started thinking about when I lived in California and I used to do it. And I stopped in California and I drugged that addiction from California back here to Michigan. And one day she came home and caught me. And she like, okay, well, we came to this cold addiction. What is it? We enable each other.
How did your wife die? What happened?
She OD'd on Percocet.
She OD'd. Where were you at?
We're at our first apartment. And I kind of felt that it was my fault.
Why?
For one, we was coping with each other's addiction. I introduced her to crack cocaine. She never smoked it straight. And when they say that person who hit that pipe the first time, mm-hmm, she was addicted instantly. So we started getting high together.
Okay. When your wife OD'd, where were you at?
I was in the living room eating dinner.
You found her.
She came out the room. This is what happened. She had her Percocet and she knew she only could take 1 or 2, 3 at the most. I wanted to get high off of cocaine, so I stole them from her and sold them. And she had to wait a week to get them back. Mm-hmm. And our oldest son, Kevin, brought her pills to her. And that was the last time he saw his mother. She's in the room and I'm eating dinner. And we called each other mommy and daddy. The only time we called each other Steve and Nicole is if we was mad at each other.
Did you find her, Steven?
She came out the room. Mm-hmm. And I said something funny. And she said, huh. And I'm like, huh. She is type 1 diabetic. So instantly I thought her sugar had dropped. So I got up and she was in the freezer with a glass and ice. And I grabbed her out the freezer And her last words to me was, "Daddy, I love you." I put her on the floor. I learned CPR by watching TV. So I thought I was a doctor. I knew CPR. I knew how to do CPR. I'm slapped her in the face, and I'm on the phone calling 911. And I'm doing CPR. She took a sip of orange juice and just started turning blue. And I lived in Westland, and I stayed. The hospital was literally 4 minutes away from me. So
Where was the kids at?
At their grandparents' house. They lived the street in front of us. It was at their grandparents'
So it was just y'all
house.
two at the home.
It was just us.
When the ambulance arrived, what happened?
They got her. They got a post from her. So I called my mother-in-law and my son, because they only say less than a block. Mm-hmm. And they came. I didn't really tell them what happened. And I didn't go into EMS with her. And when they took her, hold on. I went in the room.
How did you get to the hospital?
I walked. It only took me 5 minutes to walk there.
You walked. Okay.
I walked, but I told the EMS guys that she took pills. And in reality, they were supposed to take those pills, but they didn't.
Okay. We're not gonna get into that.
Yeah.
We're gonna stay focused.
Okay.
When you walked to the hospital, you went into the room. What happened?
Before I got in the room, I told them, one of the nurses her name, and they was like, "Oh, she's in the back giving people hell," and I'm like, okay, she alert, and that wasn't true. She lost oxygen to her brain. If you don't have oxygen to your brain for 5 minutes, your brain dead.
Steven, what happened? When you went in the room, what happened?
She was just a shell, laying there on life support. And they would take her off life support, see if she'll breathe for like 45 minutes. And they did it twice. And they declared her brain dead. So that's when my life really started spiraling on alcohol and cocaine. I thought if I keep drinking, it'll bring her back. I didn't realize that. I asked God, how could he take the only person in my life that I ever loved? I didn't want to see it. I didn't, I knew my kids was taken care of. Because for their future, we already had them set up for life, which I'm proud of. And she'd be proud of it. They all had the careers they wanted, but I stopped caring about myself. And I stopped caring about my family. The only people I was concerned about was my kids. But like I said, I knew they was taken care of. And I spiraled out of control. I didn't realize it. I didn't want to see it. And I continued to drink. It went from drinking one day to drinking every single day. If they say you wake up, I woke up, I went to sleep with that bottle. I woke up with that bottle.
Fast forward to your last stint in treatment. We're not gonna go through the many treatment centers that you went to.
Yes, because like I said,
we're not going to even discuss that.
Yeah.
I would like to jump to
now,
to the last treatment facility you were at that changed the whole trajectory of your life.
My last treatment center was Sobriety House, and that changed my life and it saved my life. I kind of was going back on the time when I was sober. I used to tell people when I was sober for all them years, I see butterflies and birds flying around. You know, I used to be scared of butterflies. I had to go to a butterfly geranium. My son convinced me to go on the butterfly geranium, and I thought about all that. So once I was at Sobriety House and I talked to all the right people, it's good people there, man. People don't realize if you want the help, it's there for you. You gotta want it. And I wanted it. I wanted it so bad for myself that it kept me focused. Because I got tired of that revolving door and talking to people about my life. I just got tired of it. I'm like, I don't want to talk no more. And I met my therapist, Miss Paula Armstrong, and didn't want to. The first day I met her, I didn't want to talk to her. I'm like, I'm not going to talk to this lady. And she opened my mind up to this day. I see her like clockwork every Wednesday. I love that woman.
I have a question. Not even a question. I want you to explain, because most people who come into treatment, most of them don't trust the process. And from us, we've been knowing each other for a minute now,
Right.
And you went through some trials and tribulations.
Yes.
While you were there, and you continued to trust the process, and you did not pick up and use.
Yeah, I trust the process. I got out of my emotions and the feelings with this. I'm consistent about my recovery and what I do. I'm so consistent. I love it. It's keeping me focused on stuff that I need to do in my life. I'm not resisting it anymore. And I never used to say this. I never used to say I'm a surrender. I used to say rehab is for quitters. And I had to realize, like, do you realize that you in a rehab? And being at Sobriety House opened my mind up to get my life back. I enjoy my life now because I was just in the streets. And I don't go around and preach sobriety to people unless they want to hear it. I don't shove it down their throat. Because at one point, people were shoving it down my throat and I just didn't want to hear it. I'm like, I'm going to do my month and I'm going to leave. Mm-hmm. I didn't have nowhere to go. I lived with 2 other addicts, and that was terrible. That was terrible. I had to get away from them. Mm. And my family, I watched one of my little cousins. I asked him for $10 to get something to drink, and he like, nah, man. I belittled myself for. This is a true story. For 3 years straight, every day, I would go up to Kroger's and panhandle for alcohol. I didn't miss a day because beginning of the month, I get my money. I spend it all on cocaine. The next day, I'm broke. I got $5 in my pocket. But I'm like, if I had something to drink, it'll calm me down. So I panhandled for 3 years and was making good money. I could have bought a Mercedes with all the money I made. And I said something to Daryl Johnson, my recovery coach, I said, man, I feel bad for people who actually need that money. Like, you don't feel bad. You know what you was doing. You wanted to drink. And I'm like, I felt bad. So I stopped doing it. I stopped doing it, but I always made sure I had something to drink. And I didn't realize it. It was killing me. I didn't realize it because I drink every single day. I didn't realize it. And I traded one thing for the next. I go to rehab at Sobriety House and I started overdosing on sugar. Didn't realize it. End up becoming a type 2 diabetic. Didn't realize from abusing my body. When you young, you don't think about it. You just go. Didn't realize that I ended up with kidney disease. And that's because of my drinking through the years. I didn't realize it. If I was still in the streets to this day, like we were talking about, if I was still in the streets to this day, I wouldn't know. I just would have got sick and passed away, and my kids wouldn't know where I was at, because I wouldn't tell them where I was at. You know, if they called me, I didn't put them on block, but if they called me, I would never answer the phone until I came out that shell. And once I ended up back at Share House, my son had to come up there and get some of my clothes. And this is the first time I ever heard him say this. He's like, "Dad, you look like you 90 years old, man." And that hurt me. It wasn't because what he said, was because he never seen me that way. And I never wanted my kids to see me that way. I was the addict who tried to keep up his appearance. You know, I have money and never go buy nothing. I was just focused on getting high. And once I realized what I was doing to myself and to them, because as a father and a grandfather, I need their love and their support. If I don't have it, I'm not whole. Like, none of us are perfect. I don't try to be a perfect person in your addiction and your recovery, because nobody's perfect. I
What would you say to someone who is contemplating going into treatment? What would you say to them?
I would say that's the best thing for you to do if you don't have no hope. Going in recovery will give you hope. It'll give you your dreams back. It'll give you your life back. Because that's what I witnessed. Like I said, I had to surrender. I didn't get the meaning to surrender. And I think about it constantly every day. I'm an advocate walker. I walk, breathe, and live recovery. I don't I try not to overwhelm myself in it. And I stay focused on my future and not my past. So anybody that contemplate the goal into recovery to a rehab, it'll be the best thing for you in your entire life. It'll change you, but you gotta want it. You gotta want it. You have to want it. I didn't want it. When I started wanting it, it started coming to me. It come to you in little pieces. Sometimes you might not see it, but once I started seeing it, and I'm like, I went to live from living in a bando trap house to having my own place and stuff now, that I can actually go home and, and cook dinner and take a shower without shower shoes. I don't have to deal with a bunch of male roommates' attitudes. I tried to stay copacetic with all my roommates. You know, you got to deal with people snoring and body noises.
You have to deal with that today. You have your own place.
Yeah. I walk in my place and I say, "Welcome home, Steve." I say good night to my living room. I go to my room, but a lot of it is because my kids support. If I didn't have their support, I was lost. My daughter, when I was at Sobriety House, I hadn't talked to her for a minute. And to hear my daughter, I called her and she like, "Daddy, are you mad at us?" And I'm like, no. She like, I miss you. And to hear that, I'm like, it shook me, you know, shook me to my heart. And she heard the distress in my voice about living with a bunch of guys. She like, Daddy, I got you. Me and Kevin and Kyle got you. Like, you could come stay with me for 2 weeks, stay with Kevin for 2 weeks. Cause she heard the distress in my voice. I didn't want to put that on them. Like, I don't have a place to live, man. I got money.
Is this when you were transitioning to go home?
Yes.
And you needed a place to
I
stay?
needed a place to stay. I didn't know. I was at Sobriety House for 10 and a half months. And people to this day, like, how did you stay there? I'm like, good people, good conversation. I listen. I caught myself sometimes going to sleep in group, and they'd wake me up, and I'm up. And when my daughter heard the distress in my voice, she like, we got you.
So today, you have your own place.
Yes.
How long have you been sober for?
Sunday will be 2 years.
Whoa.
2 years. 2 years. 2 years. No filter. No alcohol. As Mr. Arnold called it, AOD, alcohol and other drugs. People say never to a lot of stuff in their life. But honestly, I put that never in my head. It's never to go back to that, to alcohol and other drugs. What I'm going to gain from it? I'm not going to gain nothing from it.
So today, what are you adding? What tools have you added to your recovery to keep you abstinent?
I stay out my head, and I listen to people as yourself, because I call you and you answer the phone on the first ring. I love that about you. You answer the phone on the first ring. I'm like, I love Tamisha, because you don't never not answer my calls. And I stay consistent with talking to my therapist, and I go to group like clockwork. When I was here at Share House, I was overdoing it. I was coming to meetings like 7 days out the week, every day. And somebody's like, you don't have to don't overwhelm yourself with it. I'm just in there. Then I just started going for the food, and I only share if it was coming from the heart. I wouldn't never just get up, because one time I got up at Mariners Inn, and I got up and tried to piggyback off this guy. And I'm just babbling. I'm babbling. Yeah, I used to do this. Yeah, man, I used to be so high. I'm doing this. And I caught myself. I'm like, you sound like a babbling idiot. Sit your butt down. Let's have a seat. Like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Do you know any of the steps? And I'm like, no, you don't know nothing. And I sat down, and I wouldn't share again. I'm like, I'm not getting back up there. I didn't start sharing until I went to Sobriety House, because I was feeling the moment. I felt it one day. I just was sitting there, and you're not supposed to have phones in your room. I got caught with a phone. And I knew I wasn't supposed to have the phone, but I was using the phone to find me a place to live, and I got caught with it. And I'm like, okay, you feeling the momentum now. Go share that. Yeah. And I shared, I don't know, about 45 minutes, man. And people was fascinated. I'm like, okay, because I was saying the stuff that I wanted to say pertaining to my life. I didn't focus on nobody else. I'm silly. I got up there and did a dance and turned in a circle, and they looking at me, and it caught the attention of the employees that were addicts, like Darren Gordon. I love that guy too. He actually my temporary sponsor, and if I feel that I need to call somebody, I need to call you or I call Darren. I'm like, I'm feeling some type of way. I never, in my addiction and when I was sober, and they say call somebody before you use, I never did that my entire life. I just went and got high. And I call people after the fact, and they like, well, what you gonna do now? You gonna go to rehab? And I'm like, I guess I'm on my I'm on my porch with my neighbors looking at me. I'm crying with some vodka. I'm crying. I got to go to rehab. I'm like, but I pick up that phone. They say get numbers. I get a select a few numbers that I know that this person gonna actually talk me off that ledge. My home group is actually here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. My home group.
That's cool.
And I guess I wanted to put people to the test because they say, if we don't see you, we'll look for you. We won't come to a drug spot, but we look for you. They never came to look for me. I had to find them again. If I didn't reach out, I wouldn't have got the help that I needed, and I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I'm looking for Miss Armstrong is helping me get this job. So my next goal is get this job, stay focused on that job, save some money, and buy me a car because I haven't had a car since my wife passed away. I'm so used to. I had 3 new cars in a big house, but I was working. I'm making money, so.
Steven, since I've been knowing you, I know exactly your journey. You are a good brother.
Thank you.
From day one when I met you, you was all right with me.
Thank you.
I used to ride you a lot.
Thank you.
I seen the potential. I'm grateful that we have crossed paths, and just knowing your story, knowing where you came from, where you're going, it's like I'm so excited. Like I am so excited for you because I remember.
Yeah.
Where you were at.
Where I was at.
I remember just to see how you're flourishing. I didn't even recognize who you was. I was like, hey, how you doing? And you was like, Tamisha. I was like, oh my God, look at you. We talk on the phone all the time.
Right.
But I haven't seen you since when? Since the house?
When I saw the last time I saw you, when I signed those papers for you in my apartment. Yeah, that's the last time I saw you.
That's the last time I seen you. That's been what? Over a year?
Almost
over a year.
Almost.
But we talk all the time. We talk all the time. 1 hour, 2 hours. I said, we ain't doing 2 hours a day.
I'm like, am I talking to you to death? I'm like, she probably want to hang up.
Nah.
But I'm glad that you do it because it inspired me. Like I told you when you called me and woke me up, I'm asleep. When I look, see your name, I'm like, get up, bro. You got to get up. Because you answer that phone. You don't let the phone ring. You answer my call. So I'm like, I got to do it for her. Show that respect. And I do it.
That. I appreciate that. So what we have decided, going forward, we're going to start doing the Serenity Prayer after each episode. So we're going to lead into the Serenity Prayer. But first and foremost, I want to say thank you. Great job letting them have it. I didn't know that you were going to talk about your wife Thank you, because maybe that could help someone.
Yeah.
Maybe that can like really help someone, and you're still recovering from the loss of your wife.
Yep. I tried to cover it up by getting high.
Yeah.
I didn't grieve her as I do now. I covered it up with alcohol and other drugs. I masked my feelings for my wife. You know, I'm like you said, I'm a big baby. I kind of I'm getting emotional in between her, but
it's okay.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's okay to cry. You said I ain't gonna. No, if you need to cry, maybe go write some people. Don't cry. Men cry.
Yeah, real men do.
Real men cry.
Be scared of that person that don't cry.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to lead out in the serenity prayer. But again, thank you, Stephen, for coming on. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you. I appreciate that. It wasn't just me and you on the phone. It's everybody else that's going to hear your story. So thank you. And again, I am so proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm just grateful that I'm a part of your recovery process.
Yes, you are.
All right, so let's start out in the serenity prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference just for the day. Until next time, family, real voices, real recovery. We'll see you soon. Thank you.